The schoolboy sitting in front of me on the bus was carrying a textbook titled Advanced Physics for Hong Kong. I presume the title of the book referred not to some supposed uniqueness of physical laws in Hong Kong, but to the fact that the text was written for students whose first language is not English, or that it used examples familiar to people in Hong Kong. In other words, there was probably a perfectly logical explanation for the title. However, that title started me thinking about the ways we sometimes think that a particular place, race, nationality, or whatever is somehow special. In fact, everyone is special, since every single person is a child of God, made in the image of God and given a special vocation that no other human being will ever share. Epiphany is the feast on which we celebrate the fact that all people are sons and daughters of God. The wise men who pay homage to Jesus stand for all the peoples of the world. That is symbolized in the custom of representing them as members of different races. Throughout history, we humans have been exclusionists. Sometimes we've gone beyond exclusion to outright persecution. For some reason or other, or no reason at all, we view people who differ from us as remote from us. The less we know about them, the more we believe stereotypes and fictions, and then act upon those misconceptions. Today, the Church says that Christians cannot follow the way of the world in this matter. Today we see that God's offer of salvation in Christ, God's love, is not limited by colored shapes on a map. Anyone and everyone is welcome. It need not have been that way. After all, Jesus is the Messiah promised to Israel. He came to a particular people in a particular time. He may not have been what they were expecting, but he was certainly theirs. All of theology could have been taught from a book titled Advanced Salvation for the Jews, and the rest of us would have had no right to complain. But God issued an invitation to the whole world to join the new people of God. That is what today's gospel story tells us. Easterners, that is, strangers and pagans, came to worship. Not only did they come, but they were led by a star of God. God not only welcomed them, God wanted them there. It's unfortunate that we've settled on 3 as the number of those who came. The gospel does not give any number. I think that we should represent today's feast with a long procession of people stretching beyond our sight and time. It should include all the wise men and women whom God has called to see the divine glory present among us in a man born some 2,000 years ago to a Jewish mother. In other words, everybody. So, should we go running out to buy more statuettes for our Christmas creches? Should we add airplanes and autos to the camels, men and women of all ages and places to our 3 kings? Perhaps we should, since what we see influences what and how we believe. But we're called to more by today's feast. We're called to be stars of Bethlehem, leading men and women to Christ. The chief vocation of the Church is to proclaim the good news to all nations. How do I share in that great vocation? All of us are called to be missionary in our day-to-day lives. Our neighbors should be able to see the light of Christ shining in our words and deeds. Is my life such as to attract others to journey to meet with the Lord? I hope that at least on occasion it is. But I have to admit that there is much in me and in my life that would not draw others to look to Christ, whose name I claim when I call myself Christian. Today, I am especially called to root out from my speech, my thoughts, and my deeds all prejudice toward other races, religions, cultures, and so forth. I'm called to be as welcoming in my life as God, who welcomed strangers to share the wonder of knowing Jesus. God who sent a star once upon a time and sends us today to lead others to worship him. I could call it advanced Christianity for all the world.